Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Abraham Skalo Kubalo. Let me take this opportunity once again to thank you for joining me today. Let me also thank every one of you that has subscribed on my channel. It's a great pleasure to have you, and I hope that we can grow as a family and invite more and more people, and we can discuss videos that are very interesting or issues that are burning in society, and hot issues that are affecting all of our lives. Today's video is going to be titled Building a Better Father and Son Relationship. This video, you will notice that it does not follow the chronological order in terms of the videos that I've done before. It does not follow the theme that I've been handling or that I've been talking about thus far. And the reason for that is because I have had a particular encounter this week that has necessitated me to do this video. So while it might not, fall or follow the general order of the videos that I've done, it still remains a very interesting topic, and I believe that somebody is going to benefit from what I have to say today. And the last point to make about this video that I'm doing today is also to state that this is by no means an attempt to, to give an exhaustive analysis of the topic that we are going to be talking about, but it is merely an attempt to raise it, to bring it to the fore, such that people can be able on their own to think about this issue, which I'm sure that many of you have, especially those that may be struggling with it, and then also to find ways to find solutions that will be good and acceptable for your own personal life. So let me start and get right to it. The very first thing that I would like to say is that, when a child is born, into this world, especially when it's your first time to have a child, it's very exciting, can be very difficult, can be very daunting. It's certainly not an easy thing or an easy emotion to handle, because you don't know what is going to happen, you don't know the outcomes of it, but nonetheless you have to go with it, and you have to man up and own up. So in the very first encounter that we see that the very first thing that a father has to do is to acknowledge that they are the father of the coming child. So the very first responsibility that you have as a father, when your child is about to be born, when your wife is expecting, when your girlfriend is expecting, is for you to own up and to man up and to accept that, yes, this is my child that is coming into this world. So you have to acknowledge that child. That is very important, because by acknowledging that child, you are allowing that child to come into this world already with a certain type of identity, an identity that they follow into a certain bloodline, that they fall into a certain family, not only that they fall into that family, but that they are fully accepted by that family, and that they will be full members of the family with all the benefits that come with being a member of that particular family. So acknowledging the child is a very important thing that a father has to do. And then the next moment after you acknowledge your child is that you have to then move on to the next stage of the relationship, which is now to embrace the child once the child arrives in this world. And I must tell you, it's a very exciting thing. When a baby is being born, you are nervous, you don't know what to do. And then, when it gets handed to you and it's the first time for you to hold the child in your arms, it can be a sobering moment, it can be an overwhelming moment. It can bring a lot of mixed emotions for a lot of people. Tears, excitement, a feeling that, could this be overwhelming? Can I do it? All kinds of emotions come for different people at that moment. But the most important thing is to savor the moment. The most important thing is to embrace the child, as your own, to be happy, to own up and say, thank you, And embracing the child actually establishes a physical bond between the father and the child. Remember, up to the point of birth, the mother is primarily responsible for looking after the child, because the child is developing in the womb of the mother. So the mother by that time already has developed a very strong relationship, a very strong physical bond with the child. In fact, going beyond the physical bond, at that time the mother has already established a very strong psychological bond with the unborn baby. So the only person that is left now in terms of establishing a bond, a physical bond, will be the father. So when the child is born, actually that's when you start to develop a physical bond between you and your newly born son. So it's a very exciting moment, and that is a necessary step that has to be taken in terms of developing this father and son relationship. And if you take it and embrace that moment and embrace that opportunity, it certainly elevates your life now to a higher level, because you are no longer just a single man or a single person living for yourself, but now you are a father. You have got new responsibility. Your life has to change the direction that you used to take before. You might have to adjust a few things, your goals. You have to take into account that you have a newly born son in this world, and it's a very great and very exciting time. And then once you've gone through that process where you first had to acknowledge that this is your son before the child arrives in this world, and then after that you embrace the child once the child is born. The next step obviously now is to do the actual hard work, which is now to bring up the child, to teach the child your values, your morals, to go through the entire life with the child, to teach them the things that you believe are important for the child to learn and to acquire the skills they're supposed to acquire in this world. And that's a very, very, very long journey. But I think, somewhere in life things can go wrong for a lot of people, either because, when the children are born, sometimes, they are born out of wedlock, and, parents can also separate before the child is born, or even soon after the child is born, we can go our separate ways. And some children can grow up without knowing their father or having that strong bond with their father. And that can cause serious problems in the life of a child, and of course also in the life of a father, should they reunite at some point later on in life. And so you find that with children that have grown, the mother as the primary giver and the father somewhere else, those children sometimes can grow up with issues of resentment, of feeling rejected, of feeling that they were not welcomed or they are not loved by their fathers. Sometimes it can be a very difficult relationship to nourish. But I think in terms of fixing that relationship, the first person that has to reach out is the father. Because like I said, in life, you are the first person that has to acknowledge that your son has come into a relationship or into the world. So later on in life, when you want to rebuild that relationship, you as a father again have to take the first step of acknowledging that this is my son. So you may have to reach out, and sometimes pride can get in the way, because you may be somebody that says he has to reach out to me first, and your son might also be saying, no, my father has to reach out to me first. But I think this is not about who gets to win. There is nobody who's going to lose anything here. I think the right thing for you to do as a father is to reach out to your son again, acknowledge them and say, son, I may not have been there for you during the most important moments of your life, but right now I want to come back into your life, and I want to establish a bond with you, a relationship with you, and I hope that we can walk this road together. That might help to calm the son down, and that might help to ease some ruffled nerves, and start the son again to trust you and to begin to want to have a relationship with you, because they can realize that you are acknowledging them as a person, you are acknowledging their existence in this world, and you are acknowledging that they are your son. In fact, indeed, that is something that you have to do. And then after that, you have to embrace your son. You might have been gone for a long time, you might have not been very active in the life of your child, but if you get an opportunity to meet your child at a later stage in life, you have to embrace the child and establish that physical bond that was supposed to have been established at the birth of a child, which for some reason maybe you could not establish it. So it's never too late to do that again, to embrace your child and say, look, let us chart a new path forward, let us find each other, let me reach out to you, you are my son, and I want to make things better with you. And I think with that kind of attitude, you can certainly go much further in life in terms of rebuilding what has been lost. And then the next step again after that is now to actually do the hard work of now beginning to build a new relationship between you and your son, which probably did not exist for whatever reason, or that may have been ruffled up, or maybe things may have gone bad between you and the child at some point in life, but you are now certainly trying to mend things. You are trying to build, bridges. You are trying to mend the gap and close the gap between you and your child. So when you are going through a situation like that in life, I think those are the important steps to consider. The fact that you have to own up to the fact that this is my child. Second to that, you have to embrace the child for who they are and what they are. And then after that, you have to do the hard work. And then we know, obviously, that children can sometimes find it difficult to trust you again. They may have trust issues, they may have anger issues, they may have all kinds of things. And those are emotions that are very difficult to deal with. But in building, a new relationship, you have to man up, you have to own up to that, allowing them to release that, stored up emotion, that stored up anger, that stored up resentment, to release it. And you have to absorb it as a father and find a way to deal with that issue. Because, if you don't do that, you are unlikely to succeed. So I think that, in a nutshell, I just want to speak to fathers out there and to sons out there that are trying to find a common ground between themselves. I just want to encourage you to say it's never too late to establish a relationship with somebody that you care about and somebody that you love. The fact that things did not go well in the past does not necessarily mean that there is no hope and there is no future. In fact, if you come into a relationship already knowing that you have to make up for lost time, that actually, incentivizes you to come up with better ways to get to build the bridges that we burned and get to make up for lost time. So I just want to encourage people out there, fathers and sons, to find each other and always remember that there is no perfect father and son relationship. A relationship is like clay. You have to work at it. You mold it to become whatever thing that you want it to be. It's not something that is perfect. Can never be perfect. People are always changing. People are always evolving. And we need to learn to accept that as well. When we come and reintroduce ourselves to our sons, we have to work with the relationship and in the relationship to find each other, to find the middle ground, to find the common ground. And by so doing, I believe that it is the first step to building a long-lasting relationship with your son. So let me take this opportunity to thank you and encourage you to take the first step as a father and reach out to your son and rebuild a broken relationship. And I believe that with the right attitude, with the right intentions, it might be difficult, but it is worth it. I thank you.